The Joe Rogan Experience.
I found when I changed my diet so radically that my comfort foods changed and my habits changed and what I liked changed.
You know, a lot of that is because of gut bacteria.
Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah. Microbiome.
Fascinating.
Really fascinating stuff. And feeding back to your brain, that was the thing that was so strange.
Including your emotions.
Yes, very much so. But when I became plant-based, vegan, for health reasons. And I wrote in my book, a lot of stuff about I am an unethical vegan. I'm not doing this for any sort of lack of animal cruelty, nothing, strictly health. That's why I'm doing the plants. End of story. And this has happened to a lot of friends of mine who changed that. After whatever it takes, and people are guessing like 3 months, 4 months of no animal products, those little critters eating shit in your guts die that like the meat stuff, and they're not giving that feedback loop. And I just found a real emotional change where all of a sudden I went, I don't want to be part of that, of the suffering.
Yeah.
It was really strange how that changed. And it really felt to me, I so want to, hardcore atheist, as you know, and I don't believe in a mind-body separation at all. And yet, I seem to believe that when I was 350 pounds, that none of that affected my emotion. And then I lost all this weight and found there were so many changes in me that seemed to be intellectual and emotional. And actually, I had a lot of evidence were physical.
Well, there's
and
a lot
really
of people.
Fucked me up on the mind-body separation.
It should fuck you up because a lot of people make these assumptions that you are not your body, and a lot of very intelligent people they eschew working out and they don't want to exercise and they find it like it's a vanity thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems egotistical. They don't like it, and so they put it in this category of kind of knucklehead dumb things to do. Mm-hmm. But your body and your mind are all in the same house.
It's all the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If your house is filled with shit, it doesn't help the way you think.
And it was so amazing how I mean, I completely believed that, and yet I wasn't living that. Mm-hmm. I was like thinking that I was living this, 2,000-year-old idea of little homunculus who's kind of living inside me, who's this pure pen, and then the body is just the vehicle it's driving around in.
Well, if
and
I
that's
could
just not true.
Help you with that. I think knowing you as long as I've known you, you're an intense thinker, and your mind is something you cherish your thoughts and you embrace them, and you're a very intelligent guy, and I think you just probably rejected the idea that there was anything outside of the mind that had any influence on you.
Yeah, we also talked about this. I was also, I was the biggest guy to ever go through my school. So my small high school in Western Massachusetts, so I was 6'7", and they wanted me as center of the basketball team. They wanted all this stuff. And those kinds of people and that kind of culture, I wanted to listen to music. I wanted to read. And I set up this, you guys who are physical, I don't like you. I'm on a different team.
Yeah.
And my dislike of competitions and teams became a team thing.
Yes.
Yes. That's the thing you always get stuck in.
Yes.
The dislike of teams becomes your team. And I'm trying so hard now to think I have two choices, 1 or 7 billion. And there's no teams between that. I can either be myself or I can be one of all humanity. Or I won't even say 7 billion. Let's say 108 billion, the number of people who have lived in history. Those are the people I can be. It's why I'm trying to not, and this is impossible to do, by the way. I'm talking about how I'm explaining to you how I'm driving myself crazy.
Right.
I'm not giving you real information. I'm trying to not think ever of us and them. But I'm trying to say those of us who voted for Trump, those of us who believe this. So it's always us because, man, I am so fucking sick of teams. Yeah. And I even look back and go, I love the Velvet Underground. I hated the fucking Eagles, and that was a fucking team, and that was manipulated and forced upon me. You know what I mean? I wanted to be the kind of guy that went from, Zappa to the Velvet Underground to Bob Dylan. That was all okay, and the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers, they were not what I listened to. I'm just trying to let that go.
Yeah, you wanted to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And whenever you want that, you got to say, well, you're one of the cool kids. That's the 108 billion who've lived on this planet.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at things. And I wish people taught that in school, the dangers of being involved in teams. Because we get involved in teams in terms of you're playing basketball or whatever, but teams in terms of what I believe versus what you believe. And I think we're experiencing that politically right now with the most polarizing time in my lifetime that I've ever been experienced.
And worldwide.
Yes.
Worldwide. I mean, it is
Brexit,
not an American thing.
Right.
And it's just insane. And I also know that's why I said, I try to go with the Velvet Underground and the Eagles because that's where I can really see where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That I'm wrong.
How do you deny Victim of Love? That's a great goddamn song, man.